All right. Hello, everybody. We've been sitting here for an hour trying to figure shit out. Welcome to the Pulp Culture Cafe season 12, episode 313. Look at that. 13, right? Isn't it the unlucky number?
That explains everything. Then.
Yeah.
That's exactly why we're having all these problems.
Yeah, so Scott can't get his computer to work, to receive, and send either one or the other. And it seems like when he talks to us, he can't hear us either. So we're just going to go on and let him fuck around. And then if he joins us, great. If he doesn't, then Paul and I both suggest him to get rid of the laptop and get any tablet, right? Android or whatever.
Yeah.
So
he could probably do it on his phone as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be great, but it's better than nothing.
You know what? You said that, and I totally forgot. Oh, sorry. I'm going to do that.
Big we insert the Monty Python music in this bit. 2 minutes into the show. Yeah, he's just sent a message saying we might have to start without him.
Yeah.
Don't tell him we already have.
I'll tell him on Wednesday.
Yeah, you might have to start without me. Yeah, we've been recording for an hour and a half, motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, just tell him. If he can sign into Skype on his phone, that might do the trick. That's why I've started using it on my iPad. It just works. You just switch it on and it works.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, folks. Computers. So Scott join us, he will, and then if not, so we're just gonna get started. The reason it sounds so abrupted, sorry, because usually we only have about 3 hours before we're done. So we're already eating an hour of it. So, anyways,
guys, I'm bringing the party to you.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
You big dummy. Oh, great Odin's raven.
Say hello to my little friend.
I stepped in a ditch last night, man. I almost closed my balls off, man.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day.
Good. What's the problem?
Yeah, David.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
Oh, we know what you fear well without.
I'm the doctor. Gangsters, what's up, guys?
This aggression will not stand, man.
Engage.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
you know what, buddy? I'm John, the originating co-founder,
and I'm not.
That's Paul, our English correspondent.
That's right.
I had all kinds of stuff. I just blew everything out of the way trying to figure this stuff. So, you know what? Scott and I always get together on Wednesdays and shoot the shit. So I'm going to let you start with the stuff you want because, like you said, you don't get to shoot the shit with many people.
No, I'll try and whiz down to something that we might both have seen that we can have a conversation. I mean, we've all seen Deadpool and Wolverine by now, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
We can start with that.
I had fun. There's no other way to explain. I laughed. I laughed louder. Oh, when you saw it, here's the question: when you saw it, was the theater full, or at least mostly full?
No, it wasn't. No, It was not even half. But I did go to see it on a weekday afternoon.
Okay.
And it was a niche cinema. It wasn't a big multiplex type cinema. It was like a hipster type cinema.
Okay.
With armchairs and sofas and they brought you food to the chairs. It's not far away from where we are. It's, the next time you come over, you
Yeah.
might have to go and visit. It was a really good day out. The food was nice. They bought all the hot dogs, pizzas, burgers, other things, cakes. It's really good.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
licensed as well. So
Oh, wow.
rum and coke. Rum and coke all around. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. So yeah, it was a quiet day. So I don't blame the movie for not even filling half of the cinema. And it was more expensive than if I'd gone to the View or real cinema. But good day, good time. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I'd set myself up to be disappointed because I thought they can't nail it again. It can't be as good as the first two because we've been waiting so long for it and everyone's all hyped up for it. I thought they can't do it again. But I really enjoyed it. It wasn't necessarily as good as the first two. I think the first one's probably still the best, but that's just because it carries quite a lot of nostalgia because it was the first and because it came as a bit of a surprise to everybody. But I had a good time. I think the Wolverine montage is just absolute legendary at this point.
Oh,
you've forever seeing clips of it or the whole thing on social media all of the time.
Yeah,
it was that was pretty special. That was pretty special.
Yeah, I got a kick even when he mentioned the artist's name when the John Burns brown and yellow. Fuck, that's neat.
Yeah, there was a couple of deep cuts. It was it was good. It was definitely one for the fans.
Yeah,
I would say. I think probably more so than maybe say Deadpool 2, which I don't think had I say a huge amount in the way of Easter eggs. They did have that one scene where they had the cast of X-Men First Class in there, which I thought was pretty cool. But awful lot of deep cuts and there was stuff in there for the hardcore fans. It was I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, at least half of the cameos had been spoiled by social media.
I know.
Before I even went to go and see it. Not all of them, but at least half of them, which was a shame.
Yeah. That's my big thing is I would have enjoyed it so much more if I hadn't known all those are showing up, right?
Yeah. There was still one or two in there that caught me by surprise. I'm not going to say them out loud. I think pretty much everyone must have seen it by now. To be fair.
The thing is, you might as well because Marvel did it themselves. Marvel spoiled shit even before stuff come out.
Yeah.
So it's like if Marvel's doing it, why can't we? So
they shouldn't have put anything in the trailers at all.
No.
In my opinion, those cameos would have really popped.
Yeah.
If they hadn't released anything at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But good stuff. Unfortunately, fuck it. We'll just start dropping spoilers and things. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone must have seen it by now. It's a shame. I think it was either that day or the previous evening where I found out that Blade was going to be in it.
Oh, did you see? I was lucky.
Yeah.
The four that entered? No.
Yeah. I would.
Three.
Yeah, I knew Jennifer Garner was going to be in it.
Yeah.
I knew Daphne Keane was going to be in it. I'd only just found out that Wesley Snipes was going to be in it. I had no idea that Channing Tatum was going to be in it.
Yeah.
That made me chuckle because obviously we know that he was supposed to be Gambit in the previous movie.
But he's been trying to get his own movie done for years.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty good. And then, like I say, the Wolverine montage was I enjoyed that. That was pretty special.
Yeah.
But all in all, really good. Really enjoyed it. I got a kick out of seeing him pull the hood up, put his mask on towards the end. But I think he should probably, by the time he lost his shirt, I think he should probably have taken the mask off. I think it looked a bit weird. It looked a bit weird, just sort of like nips out, but with the mask on.
Yeah.
So I'd have lost the mask by that point. It had done its job.
Yeah.
I'd have lost the mask at that point.
Or at least half of it missing, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But no. Oh, yeah. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very good. But yeah, $1 billion.
Yeah,
$1 billion
billion
movie.
plus
Over $1
now.
billion at
Yeah.
this point. Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm.
It's knowing Disney as we do. I suspect they're going to want another sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure there's another sequel in this franchise. I think we were lucky to get third one, and the third one being good.
Well,
But I can't imagine where it could go now.
well,
I really can't.
I don't know if you heard it, but I think Sean Levy or even Ryan had said that they were working on it, but they just could not come up with an idea for a movie until Hugh phoned and said, "I want in," and then okay, so.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in an interview. Yeah. So if you were struggling to get the third one off the ground, I mean, they've sort of blown the load now. We've had our Wolverine team up. Where else is there to go?
That's what
played the hand.
most of us wanted to see was
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman in the Marvel universe, and Ryan is always taking shots at him in the movies and in personal life. So
Yeah.
that's what we wanted to see, and we got it. I'm like you. I don't know where they go. I'm not really going to give a lot of thought on it because it's like I got 3 movies, better than some of the shit that Marvel's been putting out lately. And so, like, it's almost like our first run of this movies up until Endgame. And then, what other Marvel movies stood out past that? You think anything? Anything pop up?
I don't think any of them have really stood out.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. I don't think any of them have been like, oh, wow, that's the best thing since Endgame.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that something will be the best thing since Endgame, but it doesn't make it.
But that's what I'm saying. We got that. Now we were lucky to get 3 Deadpool movies. So it's like, for me, I'm just going to go, I got it. Okay, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You guys do whatever you want to do. Go down whatever road you want to go down. I'll check it out. But this is it. This is it. But Scott always likes to mention that they're going the same, like Marvel's saying, I don't know what we were doing before. We tried to change it, but this is what we need, and this is showing him what we need to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, with any luck, we might get some of that back, but I think it's gone. I think the magic's gone. I think it's over. We need a break from it now, I think, and then come back, reboot it, fresh cast, fresh stories. Because I was on a treadmill earlier this morning, and I was watching Endgame with the audio commentary on.
Oh yeah.
And I was just, I thought, this is such a special film. This is so good. So good.
Yeah.
It was an absolute gift getting all those previous MCU movies up till Endgame.
Yeah.
Absolute gift. And then they just tried to make it work beyond that when really Endgame was the end, really. But I think this is it. I think Deadpool 3 is the best MCU movie since Endgame. Because it is an MCU movie.
Yeah.
So that's it. We've done it. We've had it. We can all go home. Having said that,
if there's any Wrexham fans listening, they're up 3-0 against Reading.
3-0.
Yeah.
That's good. How much time's left?
Yeah. They're at the 67th minute.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they got what? Just a
23
little under
plus.
30 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So, sorry, folks. I've really gotten into Wrexham football since watching it. I just had fun all the way through. I giggled and laughed. The only thing is that I do wish the theater was a little bit more packed. I think it would have been a lot more. Just those moments when people are laughing. There's so few. You don't really. Oh, okay. It doesn't sound like people are liking it. But if you're in the theater and it's a little bit full,
Yeah, you can
know.
tell just by the atmosphere. Can't
Yes,
you? You can
yes.
tell when it's a good film, when
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
enjoying it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. There was probably only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us in the theatre that I was in, but I bet it only held about 50 anyway.
Yeah, I think
So
we had about 15, one to hold more, like a lot more than
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
so what's that little
Well-
red light doing? Okay, just a little red light on the Skype thing. We're all I'm paranoid now because something screws up. But
well, I can still hear you and see you.
Hey, okay.
It says we're recording the call, so we've got something going.
Yeah,
on.
so we got something.
So speaking of the MCU and about how disappointing it's been, do you see the trailer for Thunderbolts where they're all fighting each other?
No, I haven't. I'm. We've said this before. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's real. I don't know if somebody slapped it together and made it. So I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think it's actual clip from the movie. It actually looked pretty good. It gave me Winter Soldier vibes.
Oh yeah.
That sort of kinetic fight choreography. It's actually looked pretty good, I have to say. But it was about a 20-second clip.
Yeah.
Now, what the other 2 hours are going to be like, I couldn't say.
Yeah.
It might be absolute dog shit. But that particular clip gave me hope. And I thought, actually, you know what? If this is what we get throughout this movie, I'd be quite happy to go and see that. That sort of stoked my interest a little bit.
There's very few Marvel movies that I'm not going to go see. I'm not expecting anything now. I'm just going to go in, probably with the Thunderbolts. Will give away a third of the movie before you get to see it. But I'm still going to go and judge it for the movie it is. And not, but lately it's again, just watch it and see what happens. So
yeah. I had right. What was I going to say then? It's gone. It was right on. No, it'll come back to me. We'll move on. It's gone. I can't remember what it was. Right, what else have we seen then? I watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, what'd you
a couple
think?
of weeks ago. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I missed having Caesar in it. It was a little different to the previous Planet of the Apes films. Because previously it was still sort of the apes having to deal with the humans. And times passed, I think I heard someone say about 300 years, I think, since Caesar's time.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, a little different than what I expected, but I enjoyed it. I like all of those types of films. I've kind of got back into it from when you were talking about the Godzilla and Kong, because I went away and I watched the second Godzilla versus Kong movie, and then did a little bit of a deep dive. I went back and watched the first one as well, and the Planet of the Apes films. So yeah, good times. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I love those movies too. Anything where the humans are the losers, I enjoy. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, it misses Caesar, but then we've got it looks like another ape that's gonna sort of take on the mantle of Caesar, and but like any stories, you got to have the bad guy in it, and unfortunately, it was the apes. But you always got to look from his prospect. He wanted the military so he could wipe out any rest of the humans, but humans wanted it so they could wipe out the apes and claim back what is ours, which is bullshit to me. This is nothing is yours, just because you can walk upright. But I like that even though the apes are intelligent, they can do stuff. It's almost like they decided we're still gonna live like apes be in one with nature. We're not going to rape it. We're going to use what we need, and that's it. And I always the girls, they kind of want you to feel sad for the humans, right? They're just trying to get back, but I can never feel sad for. It's like, to me, see, I just, okay, you got your agenda, you're evil to me, and you're gonna try and wipe out the apes so you can get back your thing. And I someone said about the CGI, it's at the point where unless it's really, really bad, I just accept it for what it is. I didn't find it that bad. I didn't think it was totally awful. I don't know. I can say I enjoyed it overall. I mean, I can go back and watch all 4 of those anytime.
Yeah. Well, this is it. It's just good fun. It's like, I can't remember whether we were saying it on the show or whether we were saying it privately, but they're just fun movies.
Yeah.
It's just, it's nothing extraordinary. It's not going out of its way to win any Oscars.
Yeah.
But it's just good fun. You watch it, you enjoy it. It's entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, if you're not enjoying watching a movie, then what are you doing?
And the other aspect is I think for you too, is when we're going to the movies, we're not looking to dive deep into any social commentary. We're not looking for anything that. We just want to be simply entertained by what's going on the screen. Maybe if something sticks out and okay, yeah, I know they're making a comment about this, but I don't care about them making social comments. That's not the movies I'm looking for.
No.
So I'm not paying like here $13 or $14 for a social commentary movie. I'll watch it at home when it comes on if I want. Was it Batman Cape Crusader? You said you watched that all?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Did you watch all the episodes?
Yeah, I did. I had to start and I finished it. So
yeah. What did you think?
I don't know if I told you but I think of this as another one of the Elseworld or Planet 316 or Alpha Planet or whatever it is. I know they're trying to they're doing whatever they do, hopefully to make it fun and fresh again. But I'm still old school. I like my criminals to be the same. Little changes here and there, or bringing in some guys like the Pyro guy. I thought I don't remember ever seeing him before. I don't know if he's a regular Batman villain, but I like that.
I thought it was going to be. I think it's DC, not Marvel. I think DC has Firefly, and I thought it was going to be him, but he had a different name, which is probably just as well because spoilers, he died.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you take it that way, I love the art style. I love that old look at the buildings and stuff like that. And Batman, I like the design of Batman. He's not this bulking, huge guy. He's just a regular guy. There's no super definition to him like most of the things is, and he doesn't have all his gadgets really. It looks like all he had was the gun with the hook.
That's all I really noticed. This is clearly sort of a Batman Year One type.
1930s.
Because all the cops were after him. Not a lot of people had even heard of him at that point, so it's definitely a Year One type of story, which I appreciated. Because I'm a massive fan of the original animated series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love that thing. So I had a couple of issues while I was watching it. I didn't really give a shit about them changing anything around. It was just for a moment. It's like, why have you done that? And then very quickly that's replaced by, who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
the only people who give a shit is internet trolls.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, who gives a fuck about, you know, any of these slight changes, even sort of like making the Penguin a woman and making Harley Quinn a little plus sized rather than, you know, that sort of like stick insect size type thing. You know, it's like, dude, who cares at the end of the day? Who gives a shit? The only thing that I really butted up against was Batman's voice. And just because it's just not Kevin Conroy, basically. It's just so weird. I was having a brief Twitter conversation with Angry Ginger from from Monkey Poo Studios. I was gonna. I don't think he does 7 Days a Geek anymore. He does like something like what's that Star Wars one? Anyway, I digress.
Oh, he does another podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
He does. He does a couple. He does a Star Wars one. I'm trying to think. What was it called? My memory is terrible today. It really is. But it did remind me what I was going to talk about. It was going to be about Star Wars, but put a pin in that. We'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, I was having a brief conversation with it about him, and that's the only thing. It looks so much like the original animated series, and probably deliberately. That it's just so. It's like even like the Detective Bullock character looks so much like the Detective Bullock character from off the original series. He's just like got a mustache or something basically. That's it. The character model is nigh on identical, but everything is so similar. It's just because it sounds different. It's just a little jarring because it's unexpected every single time. It's sort of like, oh, that doesn't sound quite right. And I would say that I'm not a massive fan of the new voice actor, but I think I'm being unfair. It's just because he's not Kevin Conroy, and I think I'll get used to it because I started watching it, had a problem sort of like with the first couple of episodes. Just I'm not sure whether I'm enjoying this. It was just about the voices, and then I kind of got over it. And then actually towards the back end, I really enjoyed it. So I have no issues with this new series whatsoever. I'm quite looking forward to a series 2.
I'm looking forward to something that maybe we can stop introducing the characters. I think that's what they did. They introduced their versions of the characters first season, so we know who they are, who they represent from the original, from Earth Prime. So that's the way I get around it, is that I've got my original Batman, and this is just, like I said, a different version. So taking that into consideration, the female Penguin is a lot more of a mean son of a bitch than the male. Yeah. Because she kills her 2 sons, right?
Yeah.
So,
you know the female Penguin is the thing that I have the least issue with.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me at all. Yeah. It's like I say, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You know?
So it was like because of that, like I did, oh fuck, okay, they changed it for this. But then again, third time, if I look at it this way, okay, yep, she's the female Penguin and she's a mean bitch. And don't fuck with her because she don't give a shit who she offs. And then I noticed the characterization of the female stars in it were a little bit plus size or chunky size, whatever phrase you want to use. But again, I didn't. What I found interesting though was that not until the end that we got the main bad guy show up, and then but Harley's already defined. Like she doesn't need him, right? So,
no, I imagine that's a choice as well. I imagine, like we're saying plus size to be polite. I don't know what the correct terminology you would say for. But
more than he's got us a handful going there.
Oh yeah. And
that's not even
Renee
right
Montoya is slightly bigger than she is in previous incarnations as well. And I don't know whether it's just to be more inclusive or whether it's just to just so that they're not as sexualized as they have been previously. So I don't know. I don't know why they've made that choice, but again, who gives a shit?
No,
it doesn't.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
What happens is if you're a regular watcher or understanding of the universe, what happens is that your first reaction to a character that you know was done this way is like, oh fuck, why'd they do that? Yeah. But as the more you watch, you forget why the fuck they do that and just start watching. That's the thing. Your initial reaction is always that.
Yeah, I mean, just using sort of Harley Quinn, the one in the new series, as an example, because she's undergone some quite drastic changes from when she was first created. If you're a massive Harley Quinn fan and you didn't give a shit about Batman or anybody else and you were only watching it for Harley Quinn, well, first of all, you're watching the wrong show because it's about Batman. And secondly, I can see why you would be upset then, because it will have changed an awful lot about your favourite character. And you'd be disappointed. And I get that. I completely understand. It's like if they rebooted Star Wars and they made some fundamental changes to Darth Vader's appearance or his voice or the way that he is, that sort of thing. I would be disappointed with that. So I get that. I do get it. But, generally speaking, it's a Batman show. It's about Batman. Batman's still being Batman, doing Batman things with Batman toys. And, it's...
He doesn't have that many toys either.
No, he doesn't have that many toys. And it's just a supporting cast that have seen all the changes. Batman's still Batman, still Bruce Wayne, still doing the same things. So if you're a fan of Batman, then you'll enjoy the Batman. But if you're a massive fan of certain supporting cast members, then you might be a little disappointed with the changes. Or there'll be a lot of people who might start watching this, and this will be the first time they've seen any of them.
You always got to remember that too. This is their first thing, so
absolutely. That might be why they're trying to be a bit more inclusive. I don't know.
It's the word I hate, inclusive. I just make a show and put every characters you want in it, and then you don't have to be exclusive. Just make it.
I must admit, while I was watching it, there were certain scenes in certain episodes of this new Batman show, and I don't know whether you've seen it, but I couldn't help but think about that South Park episode where they were talking about Disney and it was just that when Cartman would say what is it,
make her fat lesbian or something.
Put a chick in it and make her gay. every single property, every single franchise, put a chick in it, make her gay. And I couldn't help but think of that, and it made me chuckle. But not that I care. It just made me chuckle because the South Park episode kind of nailed it.
The one that you put down, I watched too, and Scott did, but you'll have to. Ministry of Gentlemanly Warfare.
That Henry Cavill film.
Yes.
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So have you seen it?
Yes. I did.
We kind of enjoyed it. I watched it with the wife. We kind of joined it. We kind of enjoyed it. When we got sort of, I don't know whether it was sort of the Act 2 or sort of like towards the back end of the film, when it was focusing on the woman and the guy who were undercover with the Germans, I kind of got a little bored with that. Because it was very slow. There was nothing interesting or exciting or anything like that. I kind of got bored with all of that. But every time Henry Cavill and his team were doing things, that was always a good time. That was always fun. So it's just a shame it slowed down when they were doing the undercover bits. But all in all, I enjoyed it. It's good.
I really liked it too. And I first thought it was they said based on a true story, and I remember watching the one about the SAS, how they got started in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
know
So
what
I
you mean.
thought that it was based on that, but what I found interesting at the end is no, these are roughly based on real characters that did real things in that section, and I like he's the commander. They listen to him, but there's also times like the guy who plays Reacher. I forget what his name. Richardson?
Alan Richardson, I think.
Yeah. He's shooting those guys with the arrow. And he just picks up and he walks right by him and the guy goes, "Oh, okay, I guess we're doing that then."
yeah. Like at the back end, something of a spoiler, but he is when they're in that bunker or wherever they are, and he just picks up that axe.
Yeah.
And you just think, oh shit. This is gonna get messy.
Then they're on the other side of the door kind of waiting for something to happen, and he comes up the axe and goes, "Hi."
yeah, he's looking through the window, he's hacking people.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I did enjoy it. I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't those signs with the woman. I was always wondering what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen there, and but I didn't get as bogged down or as thought it was a slow then because I was interested in seeing what was going on in there.
Right.
I know I laughed because it's just they knew their job, they knew what they're gonna do, but it's like, okay, we're just do it this way and fuck you. And he's shooting people with his tongue out like he's just having a grand old time, you know?
Yeah.
And he walks in and laughs at that joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was definitely a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. No, it was good. No, it was fun.
No.
It's a little different from the roles that I've seen him in previously because always reasonably serious.
Yeah.
But
and when
fun.
he's in the office, just what they need him, so he's going, yeah, okay, go ahead, take it, take the cigars,
It just
take the coke, take the lighter, yeah.
So, that was the bit that made me chuckle. There's a couple of times during the film where he comments on somebody's coat.
Yeah.
Because he likes it, and then the next scene he's wearing
the coat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one scene when he walks up the
quite
stairs and he's wearing the hat and the coat, I'm thinking, fuck, you got some balls, because someone turns around when your crew just turns around and sees that, you're gonna fire, right?
Yeah.
So
I know. I thought that might happen, but no, it didn't.
Yeah. And then the guy when he's the rescue, he's watching Richardson do his thing on that German guy. Yeah. And he's kind of like, there was no expression of shock or horror. Just
no, he was just watching.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So
he's like, is that his heart? No, yeah. Yeah. But then the funniest bit, after they've already had a conversation while he's still hung up by his arms, and then he says, "Do you think you could turn the battery off for me? It's still on," and he's still got his nipple clamps because they were torturing him, and they've gone through this whole conversation, and then he says, "Would you mind turning that off, please? It's still on." Politely,
you know.
Yeah.
So it is. I really enjoyed the movie. Scott's theory why it bombed at the theaters was because Richardson said something bad about Trump, and so people didn't go see it. Which I don't know. I don't know why. I thought it was an actually fun movie. So a getaway movie.
I remember seeing a trailer for it before it arrived at the cinema, and I was actually going to go and see it, but for some reason it was only at the cinema for about a week.
Yeah,
a couple of weeks at the most.
Yeah,
it was just taken down straight away. Now I watched it on Amazon Prime, so like with the Fall Guy with what's his face in it,
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, that bombed as well. But I think that what it looked like was that a lot of people were just waiting for it to start streaming rather than going out to the cinema. And it might have been that with the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare as well. I don't know.
People are speaking with their dollars now simply because we're going to keep bitching about this because it's just everything. It's expensive, and you really have to watch what you're doing at anything now. And unless it really grabs you and wants you to see it, they're not going to go because they know. Because now what's the size of your TV? You got a big screen. How big is it?
Oh, it's not huge. It's 52 inches, I think. Something like that.
Well, I got a 65.
Yeah,
and in the right environment, when you're into the thing, it's like, okay, that's pretty good.
It's big enough. I can watch a movie on that, and it's got the sound bar underneath it.
Yeah.
It's a good picture. It's like, who needs to go to the cinema?
Yeah.
It's like when I went to go and see Wolverine and Deadpool. Like I say, it was like a smaller independent theatre. It wasn't a massive screen, but it didn't need to be.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, whether it's on a massive screen or a smaller screen.
But people are saving their money, and like Hollywood is saying, is that they're getting, the one actor, he was in the X-Men movies, Brian something, talking about how cinema's hurting because of the superhero stuff.
Yeah, Brian Cox. Yeah. He was in X-Men too, wasn't he?
Yeah, and the thing is that you have to take away, which they don't. I think Hollywood doesn't understand. Only the actors maybe don't understand. Let's say that. I'm not 100% sure of that. Is because it's so expensive, and they're making movies which, on the outside, like Godzilla -1 was made for $15 million or something, and made a shitload of money.
I can't remember the number. Yeah.
But anyways, certain movies, people are not going to spend the money on because they want a very big overall experience. And getting that from a drama or something, unless it's really good, is something that you can experience at home, right? Big action movies, unfortunately, the explosions, the actions, and everything like that brings people out to it.
Yeah.
And that's not going to change. I don't think that's going to change for a while.
No, so that's the only type of movie that I will go to the cinema to see, or through choice. I went to go and see Oppenheimer at the cinema. It was a film that my wife really wanted to go and see. I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
I'd have waited. That's not the type of movie that I would go to the cinema to see because it's like a drama.
Yeah,
it's like you don't need to see it on a massive big cinema screen. Doesn't really matter because it's not really a spectacle, is it? It's most of the time it's just people talking. It's the drama. I'd go to the movies to see, like superhero films, action films, that sort of thing. Something where it's just this massive spectacle. So, explosions, fast cars, loud music, that sort of thing. So, like something that creates a real sort of atmosphere that you enjoy being in. That's the type of thing I'd go. That's why superhero movies are so commonplace and make so much money. Not quite so much, on the decline. But yeah, I don't know why people like Brian Cox complain about it. It is what it is, isn't it?
Actors are mostly wanting to do acting, right? I don't know how to explain it, but I went and saw Oppenheimer in the theater because it is something I wanted to see in the theater.
Yeah.
But, a majority of people, I can wait till it comes on. And I totally understand that. It takes certain films for actually get out. Because before internet and before everything else, I was going to the movies almost every weekend, right? Yeah. To go see something. Now it's like, I'm going to go, I missed it. It's okay. I'll just catch it when it comes to straight to video or whatever, or rent it there. So we've talked about this before many times, but only the big things are going to get people out. The other thing it has been mentioned by us is Hollywood has to stop spending billions of dollars to make these movies, hoping they need to cut back on their budgets and cut back on the salary of stars and get more bang for your buck for as little as you can, and it can be done. Yeah. District 9 was a movie that even I don't know how well it did, but special effects were great, and they didn't have to spend a shitload of money. Godzilla -1 looked fucking better than anything I've seen on CGI in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they just can't get it in their head. They just think that we need to spend this money or and then redo stuff that did before. Hopefully they can cash in on it again.
Yeah.
So
well, this is it. They just need to start making good films. And it's like this. Just going back to one of the things I was going to talk about previously, Star Wars. They cancelled The Acolytes.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I think there was a couple of episodes that dragged a bit because they were very exposition heavy, and I didn't really give a shit about any of it. But generally speaking, I actually quite like the bad guy. I actually liked the way that the series was going. I don't know whether you watched it or not. I don't think you did.
No.
So yeah, it wasn't the best Star Wars thing I've seen, but it was better than some of the Star Wars things I've seen. And I don't know whether you've read anything or spoken to anybody about it, but the bad guy in it is really quite interesting. It's sort of like I don't know whether it's the Old Republic or the High Republic. I'm not sure how far back they went. It was one of the other republics, I think, they were in. And it was kind of the resurgence of the Sith type thing. But this guy, the main bad guy, he was actually quite an interesting character. I actually quite enjoyed. I would have liked to have seen that develop and to see where that went. But they've cancelled it, and it's. I believe now it's very difficult to tell because the internet will lie to you quite a lot. But I believe that there was quite a lot of people watched it, and I believe it was quite well reviewed. I can only imagine they've cancelled it just because they weren't getting a good enough return for the money that they spent on it, which just brings me back to what you were just saying about stop spending so much money on things. Money doesn't necessarily make something good. It might make it look better, but it doesn't make it better quality. And people just need to start focusing on good stories, good dialogue, good acting, that sort of thing. That's what we're missing. That's
when you're talking about, again, like you said, internet, they said overall it wasn't watched as many as some of the other ones. So they're showing low ratings or however they rate stuff on there. So again, it's a matter of where you're getting the information from. I didn't watch it because I didn't want to watch it, not because of what was going on. I said, I'm gonna get a break from Star Wars. Maybe I'll go watch it later on, a few years after everything's. But right now, it's just. And then there's that new one coming out. I'm kind of like, do I want to watch that?
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, and it's just that it's.
I'm not watching that. As soon as I found out that it was focusing on a bunch of kids, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no interest in that whatsoever. I don't give a single shit about it.
Yeah.
Nowhere. No.
Like, I'm kind of, now on my palate, like last night I had I gotta eat. Everything's the same. Do I have to eat? But it's kind of the same way with Star Wars now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's there. Do I have? Nah, you know what? I've had too much of it. I'm kind of tired of it right now. And I'm going to pass. And I think I'm going to do that quite a bit now. Especially with DC and Marvel. It's just you're giving me too much of a good thing, and I'm getting sick. So
yeah. Well, aside from the Batman, I can't remember the last time I went to go and see a DC movie in the cinema. I've watched them all at home, like months later when they just come out on TV. I did watch The Flash because I wanted to see the Michael Keaton Batman bits. And I've seen it now and I'm done. Thanks very much. And we saw Aquaman and that was absolute garbage.
The second one?
Sequel. Yeah, the second one.
Yeah,
absolute garbage.
I haven't even watched it. Not interested.
No. But not interested in any of that. So I mean, even me, it's like before Endgame, I was there like week one. It's like there was a couple of the movies I actually went to midnight showings, so I could watch it. Sort of like when it first came out. I think Guardians 3. I think we went to go and see on a midnight showing. I think it was Guardians 3. But now I'm not really that interested anymore. There's not that many movies I would go and see, and superhero movies kind of gone off the boil a little bit. Most superhero properties are just kind of meh. At the minute, it's like, I can take it or leave it. I don't really give a shit anymore. But that's because we've got like an embarrassment of riches. There's so much of it. You can pick and choose. You can just, you don't have to watch it because it's the only thing that's available. You can just watch whatever you want. There's so much choice.
I'm going to switch that just a little bit to Star Trek. The Star Trek, I'll go and watch in the theater again to come out because I haven't seen one in the theater for how many years now, right?
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
TV series. I'm not getting a Star Trek TV series 5 or 6 a year. I'm getting one from Paramount, and there's a couple of like the other ones, but I'm not saturated with it so much. And I'm not talking about the reruns on TV. Those are series that played a long time ago. They did their run. Just because you can watch it in reruns doesn't mean you're saturated with it. I'm talking about new stuff. Star Trek's the opposite for me. They give me just enough and separates that it's like not having pizza for a year or something, right? You haven't had pizza in a year. Oh man, that's so good. I haven't had it. It's been months since Strange New World's been on. It's been years since a Star Trek movie's been on. So that still excites me. So
yeah, that's true. I would definitely go to the cinema to see a Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
If they'd, I kind of wish that they'd made the last season of Picard into a movie.
Yeah.
I'd gone to the cinema to see that.
That'd
be pretty special to see them bring back, the original crew on the Enterprise again.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, yes, I would definitely have loved to have seen that.
So, to me, there's the total opposite. One is just whipping her dick out and slapping it across the Star Wars dick and just beating you across the face with it. Yeah. Where Star Trek's just giving you little teases every once in a while, and then when it comes out, I mean, a movie might suck, the TV series might suck, but at least we got some space in between them.
Yeah. That's kind of the big thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a million miles away from cancelling Disney Plus, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Because
it's like, I don't really give that much of a shit about the stuff that's coming on there. I can take all the Marvel stuff. What else is on there?
But that's just it.
It's Marvel and Star Wars that I got it for, and I'm not that interested in any of it anymore.
And the thing is, you might want to just go, like, I think you do, but the physical media for the stuff. Because Disney can just say, gone, and you're not going to see it again.
Yeah, like they did with Willow.
Yeah. So, but my son pays for it, and only like, I watch it. All I've been watching is Family Guy, Simpsons when it's on, older show, American Dad, Futurama. They got new episodes of that.
Yes, I've not started watching it yet, but yeah, I noticed that.
And then some of the other stuff is like, no, it's just not interested in that. And even Netflix is starting to get shit where I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
I kind of miss the days when you. It sounds sad now, but the days when we had 3 networks and you're getting like 30 minutes sitcoms, nothing special, just something to make you giggle, right?
Yeah.
And going through those, like I can crave Friends and stuff. I'm going back because they don't have a lot of just funny 30-minute relaxing TV anymore. It's always, I don't know, fucking shit that I just can't get into. But then again, maybe it's people say, "Oh, you're just old." Okay, fine. Well,
yeah, TV's not as good as it used to be.
so, but like, there's one coming out with the Wayne family doing. I always like those guys. The Wayne family always do stuff, so I might check it out. But I find that's what's missing on streaming services. I don't know, like the '90s show. I can't get into. I want to watch it for Red, and the older actors that they're still in there, because to me they're in the original '70s show. They were some of the best that's happening, right?
Yeah.
But there's the one kid on there I just want to beat the fuck out of him. I just can't stand him. So, anyways, yeah, okay. Where are we going? We're just rambling there.
Well, yeah, this is what happens when we just sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah, we got talking about Star Trek and hardly getting any of that, and then we get some of the shit that's no good to watch on Netflix and Disney Plus.
This is it. We're not trying to be entertaining. We're just having a conversation, aren't we?
Yeah.
No, I've been browsing through Netflix trying to justify my Netflix subscription as well. Funnily enough, it's just trying to find something that you want to watch in the first place, so that actually turns out to be any good. You're lucky if you find something that's pretty good as well.
Yeah. Because sorry, just real quick, it reminds me of a review of a movie that was on Netflix. We'll talk about after you're done here.
Well, I'm only going to be a minute because I was going to say the last thing that I watched on Netflix. Now, what I actually started watching One Punch Man because I'd heard about it.
Okay.
And I've seen things in pop culture and being mentioned, referenced, that sort of thing. It seems like quite a popular franchise. I didn't know anything about it at all, other than it's a superhero who kills people with one punch. That's it. So I thought, oh, right, okay, they've got all 2 or 3 seasons on Netflix. So I just thought, I'll start watching those. I'll give it a go because it seems to be quite popular. I don't get why it's so popular. I really don't get why it's so popular. It's really, really weird. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's one punch man. It can kill anybody with just one punch. And he gets really bored because there's no challenge to it. Nothing interests him. He literally just punches someone and they just explode in a million pieces. It's very, very Japanese anime. So there's an awful lot of people exploding and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's really weird because the main guy, like I say, he's kind of sort of like disinterested in his own life because it's so dull and boring because he's like the strongest superhero in the world. And it's like, he's just a dick. He's just a dick to people. It's just, it's sort of like the bad guys will just be sort of like wailing away on him, and he just sort of starts thinking about what he's going to buy to eat for dinner on the way home. That sort of thing. And it's like, you're just coming across as an absolute dickhead. It's just. I was watching it in the background while I was doing other things, so I sort of went through the whole thing. Very little of it actually interested me. It was the most interesting thing about it was very, very quirky cast of characters. because to join a hero guild, there's so many hundred registered heroes, and they're all sort of not all of them, but there's a lot of them are quite sort of like bonkers, like homemade costumes and goodness knows what else. And the world that they live in is just, there's different tiers of hero, A, B, C, D class, that sort of thing. And One Punch Man is partnered up with there's some cyborg guy who recognizes that he's the strongest superhero in the world, wants to be more like him, so follows him around as like a disciple. And he immediately gets put straight to the top of A class, and One Punch Man's sort of like, oh, right, okay. And it tells the story of all these different tiers of superheroes. Like the one recurring character who I can't remember his name, but his thing is he rides a bicycle everywhere, and that's kind of it. He rides a bicycle everywhere, and he's a superhero. It's like, oh, right, okay. So it's kind of bonkers, but it held me interested enough to sort of sit through the whole thing. But at the back end of it, it's like, I do not get why this is so popular. I really don't. It's not that good. It's not very good. So that was weird. And the other thing that I watched on Netflix recently was the final season of Umbrella Academy, which I don't know whether you watched or not.
I did,
Scott has. Oh, did you?
Yep,
oh, right.
I did.
I was going to say I can wait till Scott's back before we talk about that.
No, I watched it.
You seen the whole thing?
Yep, seen it all.
Yeah.
And
what's your opinion? I've seen on the internet that there's an awful lot of people who didn't like it. I wondered where you fell on it.
It's not one of the shows that I cared that much about. I watched it, so the series when it ended, it was like, okay, it's done. I can move on.
Yeah.
It sounded like they just needed to round it up. Now, one of the things I heard also around is that the reasons they don't like the way they finished it is because they had to finish it on their own, because the comic books, which they were getting their ideas from, it also is not completed. Apparently, it has no end. So the ending they had to come up with was one that they had to create for the show.
Right.
Something like Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
So if you take that into consideration, and they're trying to explain why no matter whatever happens in any timeline, is that they're the root cause of it. They weren't supposed to happen because of the doing his thing, sending out that stuff. And in our number 5 was the only one that has actually kind of figured out what they had to do, which I found interesting, right? That he was the only one who could figure it out. Or the other ones figured it out but didn't want to accept what to do. And
5's the only one that ever figures anything out.
Yeah.
All the others are useless.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So the ending, I thought, okay, that's fine. Didn't bother me as much. But what I did find is the dumbing down of the 2 other male leads.
Yes.
Now, Klaus was always a bit of a fruitcake. So there's nothing you can do with him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But in certain situations, the other 2 guys were just fucking idiots.
Yep.
The leader of the thing was a fucking moron. He wasn't that stupid to begin with. Not that I can remember.
I don't remember him being that stupid. I think the big guy, Luther, I think, like, I don't think he was ever the sharpest knife in the drawer.
No, he wasn't.
But he definitely was an idiot in this season.
Yes. And see, that's like I don't set stuff to memory very much anymore. But the other guy, they turn him into a selfish male that, no, everything, I'm missing stuff. We shouldn't have done this. You're screwing up my life, sort of thing. And when he wasn't doing certain things, like for moments there when he was trying to figure stuff out, like the CIA or FBI, whatever, there's a glimpse that he had something, and then instantly they took it away. He's back to being stupid, right?
Yeah.
And the only male on there that really had things going was 5. And I know people scream, well, what about Elliot Page? No, 5 had stuff going long on before that. And so they're 2 different story arcs, too. You got one guy who's all the time trying, and then, he has, because of what he's been seeing, he knows what's happening in different things. Elliot Page's character was just concentrated on saving a family. So that was her small area of where she was concerned and doing what she was supposed to do. 5 was the greater character to me, the more one that was out and about and kind of know what's happening. So the ending, okay. You had to end it somehow. I can live with it. I'm not going to scream about it. The first season, the season and a half, and the second are the one that are probably the best.
Yeah.
After that, it was just So
the third season was a bit of a weird one as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get the point of the third season, but it's like this fourth season. There's only 6 episodes, and they just wanted to end it, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they just had to write something that led to an end.
Yeah.
Strange one. I've always 5's always been my favourite character.
Yeah.
He's really the big reason why I've been watching the show, because most of the others I don't really have any interest in, because firstly they are a dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
But the dynamic between them was reasonably entertaining. In isolation, I wouldn't really give a shit about any of them.
Yeah.
But the dynamic between them was always reasonably interesting, and that kept me coming back. But this final season's so weird. It's like Klaus was always a good character because he was quite entertaining.
Yeah.
But he didn't really have much to do in this season.
No, he was just comic relief.
Yeah, and they gave him something to do, which was kind of pointless. They could have just skipped all of that.
Yeah.
They didn't need that. They just had to give him something to do, otherwise there was no point in being there, which is kind of weird. Like you say, Luther and Diego had been dumbed down.
Diego, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like even the relationship that developed between 5 and his wife. It's like I was never rooting for Diego. I can't remember the name of his wife, but she was actually quite an interesting character because she's a little bit crazy, quite funny.
Yeah.
Reasonably entertaining. She was definitely one of the better characters. So I was quite happy when her and 5 went on a couple of adventures together. And then when their relationship started developing, I just thought, your chemistry, I mean, even actor to actor, their chemistry was far stronger than any time she's ever on screen with Diego. It was really weird. So, whole season, it was very disjointed. They were desperately trying to give each one of the characters something to do. It was literally just an excuse to end it properly, just to say, right, that's it, done. We've wrapped up the story, we've wrapped up the characters, we've wrapped everything up, so we can all move on. And the fans aren't going to keep asking Netflix to give them a conclusion, because there it is. That's it. You've had it.
Yeah. Most of these should say, listen, just be glad we're able to end it, because a lot of times they don't get to end it. Netflix gave it a courtesy, at least giving us 6 episodes to try and end it. You don't like it? Sorry, we could have just left it at season 2, and then you'd be going, what the hell? So
this is it. I mean, it's like I was saying, it's the ending that they gave it. It was more or less identical to every other ending to every other season. Some world-ending events that doesn't go their way, and and that's it. That's a wrap, everybody. So it's strange series. I kind of enjoyed it, even though it wasn't very good.
Yeah,
I think that's how I would sum up the Umbrella Academy. If I'm being honest, kind of enjoyed it. Wasn't good.
Was it bad enough for me to stop?
No,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't quite that bad. Fortunately, it had at least one or two characters that I genuinely enjoyed.
But I'm on your side. As soon as season started up, and the actor that was playing Five, I thought,
Yeah.
I like watching him. I really enjoyed watching him. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
um,
I feel kind of sorry for the for that actor and the character that he was playing, because he kind of got dragged down by everybody else.
oh yeah,
I think a story with him in it would have been far more interesting
yeah,
and far better than him sharing the screen with everyone else, who I kind of got the impression they were kind of phoning it in. You know, even Elliot Page, who's probably the most famous actor out of all of them, I think the performance was a bit shit, to be honest. You know, it's like everyone was just phoning it in the spare time. You know, whether they've all got something else, you know, more important that they needed to get back to, I don't know. But but you know, like I say, it wasn't shit enough for me to not watch it. But it's, as with most things, is when you're watching the end and you know it's the end and you know you're not going to see these characters anymore. Yeah, it's kind of sad while it's actually happening, and then once the credits roll, you turn it off and you don't give it a second thought. That's don't mean to be unkind, Umbrella Academy. I'm very sorry.
Oh well,
It is what it is.
let us know. We'll be waiting.
Yeah.
We'll be waiting by the fax machine for your angry thing. What I wanted to talk about is a movie I watched on Netflix called The Union.
Oh, that one with
Mark
is it?
Wahlberg and
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
So, to give you an idea how much I enjoyed this movie, I watched my phone about half the time.
Right.
And here's the reason. Mostly, here's the reason why.
Yeah.
Because I've seen all this before. And that's just
Right.
one part about watching movies and TV since being an old man now.
Yeah.
Is that I can see this, I know this story. This part's just made up. I don't know for who, so maybe a 10-year-old hasn't seen this before. It's the same shit. Woman comes back in alive. I mean, someone say, well, I've never seen that before, or I've never heard it before. But basically the premise is someone from the past comes back to meet up with a friend from the past, and suddenly they needed him help in this special unknown organization with a very fancy name. And then with it, in 2 weeks, as Scott said, Gary sued him, not Mary sued, but Gary sued him into becoming this top-notch assassin they need, because no one knows who he is. Come and save the world, and we hook up at the end, and there's a traitor who, you know who it is right at the start of the movie, because it gave that same trope of all these people, or something's happening to them, but you happen to be the last one in a certain situation.
Yeah, that's not suspicious.
No. So I just, okay, well, that's kind of nice. Well, that's kind of nice. What's on my phone? Oh, that's more interesting. I'll just keep an eye on what's happening.
Yeah.
So if you're 35 under, you might think this is great. But if you've been around for a while and you've watched a lot of movies, you're going to go, nah, this is nothing special. This is something to put on while I read a book, sort of thing.
Yeah. So if you've already seen the movie that's got Kevin Hart and The Rock in it,
yeah,
then you don't need to watch this movie.
Oh,
It's probably exactly the same.
Yeah. So I haven't watched that movie either. So
I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Like the Rock he used to go to school with Kevin Hart, and he comes back into his life, and it's, I need you to help me do this thing. and they go off and they both be secret agents or something. And happy days.
Did they have a special name for their organization in that one?
I think it was just something to do with the CIA, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But it sounds like exactly the same type of plot.
Well, this one had a special name. It was called the Union instead of the organization or some other thing. I would like to see one that just says, "What's your group name?" We don't got a name.
Yeah.
What? Well, how do you know who you are? We just talk on the phone or whatever.
I'm Dave. That's Roger.
Yeah.
That's Simon.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Well,
why do we need a clubhouse?
Yeah. We got special phones that no one can hack, and we can phone them. Yeah. We don't need the special stuff. Each one has their own place. It says, "Have you been out in the world? You can do everything from home now." The homies. That's the special. That's the special group. They're called the homies.
Right. Yeah. Excuse me. Oh,
but
yeah.
so
I was watching a couple of movies on Netflix, or I have been during the course of the year, really, if I'm being honest. But I watched the ones with Chris Hemsworth in. What are they called?
Oh yes, on Netflix.
I can't even remember the name of the film, but they're actually both pretty good. They're very entertaining. Yeah, lots of action in it. Actually, very good. Mm-hmm. So I gave I'm not talking about the Chris Hemsworth films. It's quite a recent one. It's got Jessica Alba in it. Trigger warning.
Oh yes,
an ex-army type person. Trailer looked pretty good, so I thought, I'm going to give this a go. So I stuck that on. Wow, no, not very good at all. No, I can't recommend it in any way, shape, or form, unfortunately. Couple of fight scenes which are reasonably entertaining, but aside from that, it's pretty much like an episode of Reacher, really. You know, she goes back to her hometown because I think her dad's been killed or something, and turns out that like local authorities are in on some sort of conspiracy. They try to silence her, and she ends up beating them up, and you know, it's they have a parade for her or some shit. I don't know. So that's that movie. It's about as generic as it gets, and you know, it just reminded me then with you saying about the plot being so generic that you've seen it a million times before. That's exactly what it reminds. It reminds me of pretty much every Jean-Claude Van Damme or Steven Seagal film. It's just go home, get into a fight. But I can't remember whether I told you. I did watch that Roadhouse remake with Jake Gyllenhaal. That was quite entertaining.
Was it? Yeah.
I like him. He's quite good. It was all right. It was all right. It was pretty good. It's worth a watch. Okay. Not the worst film. It's good enough to sit through once, and you'll think, that was all right. It was quite good, and then you move on with your life and you don't think about it anymore until this point when you're on a podcast with one of your friends, and that's that.
Well, I watched before they started taking them down. They were putting up a lot of new release movies up on YouTube. Somebody was hacking and putting them on YouTube. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I watched A Quiet Place Day 1 that was on there.
Oh.
Again, it with commercials and stuff, but I haven't seen any lately, so they must have got on. But I enjoyed that film. I liked it. It set up how things started in New York City and stuff like that. The lead actress was very good. All she wanted to do was get a slice of pizza. Your premise is she was but dying anyhow. Yeah. She had terminal cancer. She was gonna die. So she figured, you know what? The world's coming to an end. I want a nice slice of pizza before I die. So she's going through New York trying to get to this place. She runs into the guy who is Johnny Storm in the new Fantastic Four movies.
All right. Okay.
He's traveling there. Runs into him, and he's lost because he's from England. I can't remember the exact time. So he no fucking clue where he's at. and she's trying to tell him to go here, and he just ended up following her, and because he's got nowhere to go, he doesn't know how to get there, doesn't know where this place she's telling, and so it's how they survive through how they get through it and how they manage, and there's one scene where I don't know if you've seen the other two movies, but the creatures can't swim; they drown in water.
I've seen the first one, but I've not seen the second one.
The second one's good.
The third one.
Yeah. So they can't survive in water, so they've cut off the bridges, but they telling people to head to the water. But as humans do, they decide to go in a large group to head to this water, and these things pick up on a fart, right? So how do you expect it? But she helps him get to the boat and things like that. So overall, not a deep concept movie, but I found it entertaining because it's showing how these two people survive. And the ending was sad in two ways of how it ended, and which, I wasn't like boo-hooing, but I said, I can understand what she did. Yeah. And so I recommend it if you get a chance to watch it. You gotta remember there's not a lot of dialogue in it, right? Because they have to be quiet. But
I keep meaning to watch the second one as well. I did enjoy the first one. I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was good. So I've just not seen the second one yet. I'll watch it at some point. I'll watch that.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it on Twitter earlier in the week, but I went to go and see Alien Romulus.
Yes. Scott would really wanted to talk to you about that too.
Yeah. Shall I wait until he's back before I talk about it?
Well, how about that? Because I know you said you enjoyed it. Let's leave it. Yeah, okay. I don't have any interest in seeing it.
Yes, it's good. If anyone's listening, if anyone's still listening at this point, if anyone's still listening and did on the fence, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't really like many of the cast of characters, but it was a good Alien film, and me and Scott will get into that at some point next time we record.
I think you two will have more to talk about than I did, because I don't have no interest in seeing it, and it's just okay. I've kind of seen this story before. I know they changed a few things to make it different, but basically, it's the same story to me.
Well, an Alien film follows the same pattern.
That's just it, right?
It has to, inherently. It has to. That's what makes it an Alien. Somebody's got to get impregnated by the alien so that it can burst out and turn into like the big xenomorph or xenomorph, I think they pronounce it. And then everyone gets killed. And that's pretty much your Alien movie. But we'll get into that next time we record. Hopefully. Hopefully. Now, without Scott being here, I'm whizzing through this list of things I was going to talk about
me
pretty
too.
quickly. I don't know about you.
Well, Scott brings a lot of news, and I didn't write anything because he'd have the news to fill up the first part, right?
Exactly. No, I don't really go out of my way to record any news. No, the only thing I brought to the table was the cancellation of the Acolytes. I don't have much more else. I think I saw Cobra Kai. If you've watched that,
no.
No, I think does Scott watch that?
I believe he does. Yes.
I'll save that for Scott's. House of the Dragon. Have you seen that?
No. That's another ones I haven't watched. That's because I was asking you guys something that is a little bit newer that you guys have started, so I don't have to go back a seasons or 5 seasons. So it's going on. So.
There's only been 2 seasons so far. I think 10 episodes in the first one, 8 episodes in the second one. So it's I will mention this now. I don't know whether Scott has been watching this or not, but I have been watching the Gladiator thing on Amazon. I don't know whether you've got it on Amazon over there. Those About to Die, it's called.
No.
Basically, it's just about gladiators and whatnot.
Oh.
I thought I'd watch that because you got Gladiator 2 coming up, so it's kind of quite a popular type of thing at the minute. The only thing I'll say about it is it's a very, very budget Game of Thrones. It's trying to be Game of Thrones because there's quite a lot of nudity, sex, violence, that sort of thing. But
no tits on dragons.
No tits on dragons. No. You do see some titties.
Yeah.
But you did. It's really weird because there's nothing exciting about it at all. It's what were we talking about? We were talking about House of the Dragon when they had that clearly fake genitals in one of the episodes. It's kind of like that. There's quite a few sex scenes in Those About to Die. So there might be like half the nerds listening to this might have already gone and started downloading it. I don't know. But what's quite funny is, and I don't know whether it's just because I'm getting older, but I just didn't give a shit. It just, none of it was interesting. It's just like, oh, for Christ's sake, put your clothes back on and fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, I no interest in it whatsoever. This wasn't exciting, titillating. It was completely unnecessary. It was literally there just to be like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything like Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones, certainly for like the first few seasons, as I think we've discussed previously, had some great characters, had some great plot lines, had some great dialogue, and it was really interesting and fun to watch. And I really can't say the same thing about this. Now, again, it wasn't shit enough for us to stop watching it. I was watching it with wife. Now we went to Rome last Christmas, I think it was. We went to Rome. That was good fun. So I think she wanted to watch that more than I did, just to sort of like relate some of the locations that we visited back to the historical setting. So she kind of wanted to watch it. So we were both watching it, and I think we both just persevered, so that, you know, because of the locations and everything. But like I say, it wasn't shit enough to stop watching.
Yeah.
It was just okay enough to continue watching it right to the end. But if anyone's getting any interest in it, just manage your expectations. It is not in any way like Game of Thrones. It does have the I don't know, what's his name? That really nasty guy. What's he called? One of the Boltons, I think he's called. Anyway, he's in it. He's like one of the main characters, and he's kind of the best thing in it. Everyone else is an absolute complete waste of time, basically. So weird. It's all these different plot lines and things, and it's like, nope, not interested. Nope, I have no idea where that's going. I have no idea why you're doing that. I have no idea why you're talking to him. I wouldn't. Weird. We're a weird show.
Yeah, okay.
So there's not been a fat lot that we've been able to rave about this week. It's all been about, you know, the theme of the show has been not shit enough to stop watching it. But that's a bit of an unwieldy episode title. I don't know how you'd fit that in, but that's kind of been the theme of the whole thing, really. Not shit enough to stop watching.
Well, not bad enough.
There's got to be some variation of that.
Yeah, I'll figure something out. But I'll just go leave with a quick comic review.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm gonna bring this one up because I'm really not into the Conan sort of stuff in comic books. It just bores me. It's movie stuff to me. It needs to be in a film, the action and stuff like that. Comic books is boring. But lately, there's been a couple of comic books that have been coming out. One called Barbaric. I think I've mentioned this on the show about this guy's curse. He's a barbarian, and he's supposed to plumage and kill and stuff like that. But he's been cursed. Then now he's got to help people. And then he also has a cursed axe that talks to him only, but gets drunk on blood. He gets just like we get drunk on alcohol, he gets drunk on blood. So Garth Ennis, who did The Boys and Preacher and stuff like that, and Janice Burrows, who did Cross and Punisher. They do this story. The premise thing is basically he says, meet Babs, a barbarian thief with an itchy metal wardrobe and the world's worst enchanted sword named Barry. Together they travel the fantastic landscape of wizards, dragons, and demons and castles, and a band of very angry, very white knights. Bab isn't looking for a fight, but she never found a bad situation she could make 100 times worse. So this is a political statement about the situations happening around the world with different stuff. As you can see, very angry, very white knights about how stuff's going on in this thing. But I found it funny. Even though the sword can talk to Babs, the horses can talk to each other. And which is interesting. They can say what the fuck's going on with this. They have... Now I got to read this. There's a group of trolls and elves and a few other magical creatures that you would have in that sort of situation. Yep. Meet Babs and her friend in a bar. And this is why you get an idea what he's talking about, what he's poking fun at. This is from one panel. She did something. They have the orc. His name is Mork the orc. So, so they're confronting these group. Here's what they start says. We liked it better when Grislock was a guy. We don't like the glorification of Grislock. We don't like bullshit changes for the sake of fashion, especially when the girl kills the guy. Like that could ever happen.
Yeah, you know what's coming next.
So yeah, but he's kind of like, here's a shot of changing genders just for this or doing this for that. And how in the real world can a woman beat a man? And through the whole book, he makes fun of that. And it's just an entertaining shot of what's going on in comic books and movies and stuff like that, set in a world. And there's there's swearing and shit like that in it. Where to me in that situation, it's like I'm not taking myself seriously while I'm writing this. I'm gonna make a statement. I'm gonna have some fun with it, and I'm gonna write it with real world language, but sometimes it's coming out of a troll or whatever, and she's always adjusting her outfit because it rubs against her neck. She's killing squirrels so she can skin them, so she can put them on her nipples, so it doesn't chafe against the metal gear she's wearing.
Right.
I've signed up to get this because it's lighthearted, fun. I'm not going to take it seriously as some people will because of the gender and comments he's making in it. I just want to have some fun and read the book and enjoy the art. So
it sounds like it's good fun, actually. I like the sounds of that. Who publishes it?
Ahoy Comics.
Ahoy. Right,
yeah.
Okay.
And it's issue number 1. I didn't pick it up at the first. Like I didn't pre-order it, so now I've put it on my pull list. I might get issue number 2, but number 3 will come as long as he's going. And it's the same with that Barbaric. It's just stupid fun. He doesn't make as much. The writer for Barbaric doesn't make social issue comments like Garth Ennis is doing here, but it's the lighthearted part of it. I mean, a sword that gets drunk on blood. I mean, come on, that's just like who would ever think of that? Unless you're a comic book writer or whatever. And then so if you don't have to get is like if you're not getting a lot of books, Paul, I pick up number 1 if you can find it and tell me what you think. So
Yeah, I like the sound of that. So
Yeah.
is that? I'm just looking. No, I'm just on the shelf.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Looking on the shelf at the minute at these 2000 AD collected editions, and I'm looking for Slain. I'm just wondering who wrote that, but no. Okay, no. I wondered if Garth Ennis had anything to do with that. It sounded like a kind of similar sort of thing.
Yeah.
So is that the same book you were just talking about, or two different books? The one with the woman and the guy with the axe that gets.
So they're two different books. The books with the
that's what I
woman.
thought,
Yeah, the one with the woman is called Babes. Or Babs. Sorry, Babs. 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 So that's a different. And the other one is called Barbaric, and I don't have the issue with me. I don't know who does it. I think it's Vault Comics that does that one.
Right.
But entertaining barbaric stuff, old day swords and demons and trolls and stuff. So I can't. It's just fun read. That's the best I can say.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a bit of fun. Yeah. I keep threatening to go and get that volume 1 of that Tom King Wonder Woman story, which I believe is quite good.
Oh yeah.
So if I manage to call in to pick up one of those, then I'll see if we've got any of the issues on the shelf.
Yeah. Well,
so
speaking of Tom King, I'll just tell you, I don't know how well you know, but he started a DC book he's writing, and it has Jennifer Sparks, and she was part of the Authority.
Oh.
Because DC owns the Authority now, right, or something, isn't it?
Oh, what's the name of the book?
Jennifer Sparks.
Oh, sorry. I thought that she was just a character in it.
No, I know nothing about this character. And so
I didn't realize that.
Maybe the reason I picked it up, because to me this is like, and it was in the background, if you look at it, it's not a rip off, not a changing of gender or doing this and this. So so it's like, oh wow, an original character, female, starting female, and it doesn't seem like it's anything else. But and I just needed something like that, not a rehash or taking someone and gender swapping them or shit like that. Yeah. And so Lee, the comic book she told me, said she was part of the Authority, and I know very little, but she's 100 years old. They're only supposed to, they're part of they live for 100 years and then they die, and then a new one comes out. But apparently somehow this Jennifer Sparks is still alive, and she's a badass, smone-shaking, foul-mouthed English broad. She basically tells Batman at one point, "Go away and let the parents do this." She's that powerful, right?
Yeah.
She's that powerful. She's Superman and Wonder Woman, and just fuck off. You leave me alone. Go play with your clown. Yeah, she says that. Go play with your clowns and stuff, and let the adults handle this. And so, and then now I had this comic book. I never was much in, but there was a character called Captain Atom. He is basically a human being that got infused with nuclear.
Yeah.
So he's like a nuclear powered human being. And here it sounds like he's kind of lost his mind and he wants to be treated like a god.
Oh. Is that the same Captain Atom that was in the Justice League?
That's what I'm thinking.
Or is this a Captain Atom from...
No, he's got the same stuff. The red gloves, red boots, all silver, nuclear thing on his chest. Yeah, so I don't know what's happened with that character. But in here, he's a prick.
I am definitely interested. And I like Tom King's writing.
No.
I've read quite a lot of the stuff that he's done.
This is unusual for me. It was hard for me to read this because I'm so used to light reading most of my books.
Yeah.
And he's got so much fucking dialogue going on in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, my fucking brain can't take this. I'm not used to this.
No, he does write quite a lot of dialogue, but he usually writes some pretty good dialogue. He's almost like a Quentin Tarantino of comic books in that respect. Whereas when people are talking, it sounds right. You know, I think he kind of nails conversations and dialogue and that sort of thing, which is what I quite like that about his writing. So I'll have to give that one a go. Oh yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you get it, give it a go. See if you get the same thing, because I'm reading this book and I'm going, why are these characters here? I have no reason why they're here. And gradually, as you get to the end of the book, you realize what he's doing, and it's like, oh, okay, it's one of those situations, which, like, I had no fucking clue where it was going with this until I got to the last couple pages. So it's another, like, I enjoy it. I'm gonna actually, I'm supposed to be getting rid of comic books, and now I'm adding Babs, and now I'm probably gonna add Jennifer Sparks to my pull list. And so,
I haven't read any for a while. I'm trying to catch up on all the ones that I've got that I haven't read yet. I've probably got years worth of a backlog of things to read. So I've not bought anything new in a while, but I'm definitely interested in those. Certainly the Tom King one, because I do generally go out of the way to get the Tom King stuff.
And I've got to go buy another issue #1, because something on the oils on my hand must be really bad, because I pick up a book and I'm really just trying to just gently hold it, and I still get imprints from my hand in it. Right. So
you need to start wearing gloves.
I got rubber gloves. Yeah. So, but so those two are quick. If you get a chance, get them. Just one issue. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
So
can have a look at that. And that's all I've got.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Me too.
This one.
That's it.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
That kind of brings us up to our finish time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's about it, right? 2 hours. Well, we would have gone on time. We would have had 3, and I could have broke it into 2 like last time.
Yeah.
But
No, you're stuck with just one show, I'm afraid, this week.
Yeah. I'm filling in with all the old radio podcasts. So
yeah.
But I'm actually getting about the same amount of downloads for those as we do with the show, so I'm happy.
Right.
Anyways, okay, folks. Well, if you tuned in and listened for the rest of the show, we're sorry about the no news, because our news man he fucked up his computer.
Yeah, he needs to stop using laptops.
Yeah.
He needs to get himself an iPad or
Mac. That's
or
what I
just
got.
start using his phone or a Mac. Yeah. I know somebody who's selling one for £150.
It's sending it across.
I'm not posting it though. He'll have to come and collect it.
Oh, geez, with the spend $2,000 to come pick up a 150 computer.
Yeah.
So, okay, folks. Well, again, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, hopefully we have things figured out and fixed, and Scott will be back. So we'll be doing the month. But in between times, if you're one of the ones that are downloading the old radio shows, I appreciate it. Thank you. I do it sometimes mostly for me, so I have something else to do while I'm on the road. Pretty sure it will be, I'm going to have almost 5 days a week I put up, because I've broken them down to thrillers, science fiction, westerns, comedies, and superheroes. So, I don't know. It's just fun to listen to, especially on the road, and it costs me a little bit. But not Skype, but Libsyn holds most of it. I don't have any in the cloud, so it's not costing me anything really. Okay, so anyways, thanks, folks. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.
That's all, folks.
Thank you. Come again.
Why, you little?